Good morning and welcome. First topic, exponents, basic laws and rules of exponents, right? So you were introduced in grade 8 and 9 to exponents. Now refreshing. So in short, exponent normally has a base and an index, right? All together, put together, it's called a base. So A, there's my base. N, there's an index, but yeah, most of the time your teachers just call it the exponent. So yeah, that's the exponent, but the whole thing together is exponent. So per definition, a to the power n simply means whatever n represents, we're going to multiply a by itself that amount of times. So a to the power n is a times a times a times a times a times a times a to n factors. Right, n is always a rational number. Right, so in short meaning it can be a fraction, decimal, etc. And a must be a real number. Right. So I assume you still know from the number systems we've done. So if we refresh grade 8 and 9, you did first law. My bases are the same. We add the exponents if we're multiplying. So a to the m times a to the n equal a m plus n. Right? So if you're not following, I'll do examples. So when we multiply and the bases are the same, we add the exponents. So there, I have 3a cubed, c4 times 4a5, c negative 2. Multiplying, so first 3 and 4 there, my coefficients, they're not the same value, so therefore we just multiply them. 3 times 4. A and A there in purple, you see the base is A. I'm multiplying, so I have to add exponents, so that becomes 3 plus 5. There, base C and base C is the same, so we have to add exponents, so in this case it becomes 4 minus 2. So 3 times 4 gives me 7, just lying, 3 times 4 is 12. A3 plus 5 gives me 8. 4 minus 2 gives me C2. And they have solved the problem using the first law of exponents. So that's just to give you an example of how we'd use first law of exponents. Let's go to the second law. Right, and as I remember, to subscribe to stay up to date with the content that's being loaded. So they have a to the power m divided by a to the power n. According to the second law, if I divide, the bases are the same, we subtract the exponent. So that becomes m minus n. So when we divide and bases are the same, we subtract the exponents. So here we've given you 2 to the power 4, b to the power 5, divided by 2 squared, b squared. So base 2 and base 2, write it down, one base, and we subtract 4 minus 2. There, base b and base b, so write down b and we say 5 minus 2. So 4 minus 2 gives me 2 to the power 2. 5 minus 2 gives me b to the power 3. Right, third law, you ready? Right, so we look at the third law. Third law, when I have a base with exponent in a bracket, and I raise that whole exponent to a further exponent, then we will multiply the exponents. So you see there, am raised to the power n becomes am times n. So in raising a power to another power, we multiply the exponents. So there, a2 raised to the exponent 3 would simply become 2 times 3, and I assume you know 2 times 3 is 6, right, and not 5, no? a to the power 6, but yeah, I've seen learners do that when you'll start stressing unnecessary in exam and overthink a problem. Right, so a to the power 6. Look, fourth law is now when I just have more than one power or more than one base in the bracket. So I have a to the power m and b to the power 1. Remember, there's invisible 1. That's raised to another exponent. Every base inside must be multiplied with the exponent outside. Very important. Right, so there, a, m times n, b, 1 times n, becomes a m n, and b to the power n. So when 2 or more bases are multiplied and raised to a further exponent, raise each one to the exponent. So if you look at the example here, and the colors look like ligerish, ne? I'm wishing for ligerish. So that's 4, a to the power 2, p5 to the power 5, brackets raised to the power 3. So remember 4 has the invisible exponent 1. So if we don't write anything in the bracket, 1. So it becomes 1 times 3. 2 times 3 and 5 times 3. Right, so 1 times 3 gives me 4 to the power 3. 2 times 3 gives me 8 to the power 6. And 5 times 3 gives me p to the power 15. So they have applied the fourth law. Right, there's still rules and definitions that we've discovered using the 4 laws. Right, some people refer to them as laws, but yeah, they're just basic definitions, working with m and n being an element of natural numbers. So if we take any base and we raise it to the power 0, it will always equal 1. Take note that a cannot be 0 to the power 0. So 0 to the power 0 is considered to be undefined, and a must be a positive or negative, but not 0. Number 2, yeah, somehow I've picked up learners still have a problem understanding this. So hopefully between number 2 and 3 you understand. If I have a to a negative exponent n, right? Understand the following. If I write it as a rational number, I can write it as a negative n over 1. It is not a negative n over a negative n. So that's simply over 1. To make the negative positive, we always take it to the other side of the division line. So you see when I drop it to the bottom, it goes from a negative n to a positive n, and 1 simply stays on the top. Again, a can't be 0. Remember 1 divided by 0, undefined. Look at number 3. I have a fraction, a divided by b to the negative n. If I take this negative n in the negative 1, then a would go to the bottom because it's going to be a negative 1 to make it positive, a positive 1. There, b negative 1, if I bring it in, become b positive 1 if I take it to the top. Right, and there's n. If you look at example, if I have 2 over 3 negative 2, take the negative in and I flip the 2 around. So 3 goes top, 2 goes bottom, and 2 become positive. 3 squared, 3 times 3, not 3 times 2, net. 3 times 3 is 9, and 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. Right, and what I've done there is basically what the fourth definition is here, a over b to the power x. Can multiply 1 times x is x, 1 times x is x. So there 2, 1 times 3, 2 to the power 3, 1 times 3, 3 to the power 3. 2 cubed, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 3 cubed, 3 times 3 times 3 gives me 27. Alright, so hope you follow and understand. Right, I'll be using these laws and definitions to solve your general classwork and exam questions. Please like, share and subscribe.